Thank you for joining us.
Namaste.
So, good morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever it is in your part of the world. Today, on this episode, which is episode 99, we are going to do some focus with forward bends. So, in order to achieve that, we're going to have to, stretch out the back and the spine some and stretch out the hamstrings and the legs. So, we'll just have a little practice and see how we go with that. So let's begin. But come down to sitting, and we'll bring the right knee in and have the left foot on the floor and just hug the knee towards the chest, and then take the ankle on the opposite lower part of the thigh, and then bring the hands in. And we're just stretching through that outer hip. Just bringing the hands to the thigh. Of course, you can also put the hands on the shin. The idea here is to keep the knee open so that it's the shin that's coming towards the chest, not the knee. And then extend the opposite leg and see if you can hold on the calf muscle. If not, you can just hold the thigh here. See if you can get some stretch on the back of this leg at the same time as you're opening the knee on the other side. And of course, a little bit of the lower back might come off. And then bend that knee in and see if you can just press that shin towards the chest, and bring the foot down, and then drop the knee over and just place the foot up, and you can just place the other hand on the thigh. And this gives a different stretch, a little bit through the diagonal, the side body, and for me, I feel it a little bit in my sacrum and outer hip there. Couple of breaths here, and then bring that up. We'll do it on the other side. So starting with just holding the shin and bringing that thigh towards the chest. And then we're going to go in the opposite where the knee opens up. We place the ankle towards the knee on the lower part of the upper thigh, and then holding the hands behind the thigh. Couple of breaths here. It's good to flex the feet because that helps keep the ankles in line and also keep the feet from signaling. If you want to bring the hands on the shin, you can. Then slowly straighten that leg, and you can either hold the thigh or hold the calf muscle. Trying to get a little stretch in the opposite leg or hamstring. And as you bend that leg in, you might get a little bit more stretch here. Then place the foot on the floor and drop the other foot to the floor so that you're getting a stretch. Perhaps right here, that's where I'm feeling. Slowly bring that back, and then see if you can cross the shin and roll up to sitting. So you're going to try to use a little bit of momentum, so it'll bring you a little bit forward, and then you can roll back, come forward. You can lift the knees up and change the crossover, and roll back and roll forward, roll back, come forward, and then you can bring the knees up and change the crossover, and then you can roll back, roll forward, roll back, roll forward. Hopefully you feel the engagement in the abdominal. And you change, bring the knees up and change the crossover. Come forward, roll back, roll forward. One more, roll back, roll forward. And then if you can, just bring the hands up, and then you're into all fours. Because I went forward in the momentum there. And then come into all fours. See if you can really press the hands, press the shins and the feet, and roll through the spine. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale. Inhale into dog, still in the pelvis. Exhale. Head still in the pelvis. Head still. Come into the length of your spine and bring the big toes together, knees wide. You walk the hands forward so you can slowly bring the sit bone back to the heel. Getting that length in the spine. And then inhale, come up, tuck your toes, and go into a downward facing. So you can do a little bit of walking the dog, opening up those legs. And then you can bend the knees, bring the armpits closer to the thigh, straighten the leg, couple of breaths here. And then inhale that right leg into three-legged and bend it between your hands and just come into a lunge. So you can really engage, connecting that heel into the sit bone, lengthen the leg, really lift the top of the thigh, keep your fingertips on the floor if that helps. Find that length through the head and the tail. And then slowly try to straighten the front leg and just do a little rocking motion. Just ease a little bit of wherever you can go. You may not get very far, but the idea is just to warm up those muscles, feel that forward and back. And then place the hands down. And bring that right leg up and down into downward dog. And then bring that left leg up, bend it through the hands. And I'm just on my fingertips. Coming in first to a lunge, really lift the thigh here, really engage the leg. Feeling that connection in the head and the tail. And we're trying to feel an evenness in the pelvis, not opening to one side or the other. And then just a little bit of rocking back and forth, perhaps stretching the front hamstring a little bit. And then swing that leg back up, down to downward facing, and bringing the knees down, going into big toes together, knees wide. Inhale, coming up, tucking the toes under to downward facing dog. Then lift that right leg, three-legged, bring it between your hands. And then if you're all right, bring that back foot forward. And you're in bent knee Uttanasana. And then slowly come up. Stand at the front of your mat. Feeling the lift up the front body and the length down to the tailbone. And then we'll place the hands on the hips just for that awareness of the evenness in the hip. And we'll soften the knees and take that right leg long. And then just come into Warrior One lunge. Really press through that back heel. And then if you want to bring the arms up, bring them up through the side. Couple of breaths here. And bring the arms down, back to the hips. Bring the back foot in, put the hands on the hip. And then just release the arms long next to you. Couple of breaths here. Hands on the hips. And soften the knees so you can take that left leg long behind you. Bend the front leg and really extend through that back leg. And then if you're feeling well and balanced, you can lift the arms up through the side. A couple of breaths here. Swing the arms back to the hips. Inch that back leg in. And stand in Tadasana. Couple of breaths here. Bring the hands on the hips. Extend that left leg long behind you and come into Pajvottanasana by placing your right arm on the right leg and then either leaving the left arm there or inhale, bringing it up. Couple of breaths here. Bring the hand back to the hips. You can pivot hips around with the heel up and bring that foot forward. And release the hands, palms down. Couple of breaths. And then hands on hips. Take the right leg long behind you. Heel down, bending that front thigh. Left arm on the thigh. Top arm come up and lift over into Pajvottanasana. Couple of breaths here. And bring the hands back to the hips. Pivot that leg around. Bring the foot forward. Soften the arms. And come into Pajvottanasana. Hands on the hips as you bring that left leg long behind you. Just put it down, and as you bend here, you're going to slowly bring that foot forward. Hand can come down into Ardha Chandrasana. And then as you bring that foot back, you can bring the hands around the hips. Coming up, back foot comes up and back in. And arms down. With a couple of breaths there. Then hands on the hips. Taking the right leg long behind you. And as you're bending like you're going into Pajvottanasana, you slowly inch the back leg in, hand down, leg up. And then extending that leg, hands on the hips. Bring that back foot forward and arms here. A couple breaths into Tadasana. While I check my breath. Sorry about that. Back to Tadasana. Now with your hands on your hips, you're going to take that left leg long behind you, but keep the foot pivot and both feet forward, more or less. I mean, this one is a little bit on a diagonal, but you want the hips to be as forward as you can. And for the first one, we'll hold the elbows behind and make sure that you're lifting the abdominals. See if you can lift the chest a little. And then begin to start to come forward towards halfway down by keeping the hips together here. Inhale, slowly come up. Hands on hips. the front leg, bring the back leg in. Arms down, a couple of breaths here. Hands up. Take the right foot long behind you. So the hips are facing forward as much as they can. Then if you can hold the elbows behind you or just even hold the forearm, you can lift the chest up and start to come towards halfway down. If you can do that. You have to really engage and lift the front thighs here. Inhale, coming up. Bringing that back foot in, hands on hips, and arms down. And then hands come on hips, take that left leg long behind you, and again your hips are facing forward. Now see if you can lift up the arms here. Feel the power in the legs. You're really pressing the feet. And then start to come forward as best as you can. If you can place the hands on the thigh, you can do that. Or you can place them on your shin. Or you can place fingertips on them. Come up, you can first put the hands on the shins, then on the thighs, lift them straight forward, come up, and then bring down, hands on hips, bring that back, arms relaxed, and then hands on hips again. Take the right leg long behind you. Find that power in the legs, really lifting the front thighs. Inhale the arms up. Start to come forward. And then you can release the hands on the thigh. That works for you. Go further, putting them on the shin, you can do that. And if you can put them on the floor, do that. And then to come up, come on the shin, then onto the thigh, then reaching forward. Slowly come up. Bring that back leg in. Should have put the hands on hips first. And arms down, a couple of breaths there. And I'm just going to back up so I've got more space. Now we're going to come into a few versions of Uttanasana, standing forward. So depending on your hamstrings or your back, we'll take it in different stages. So, you know, one stage is to start with is to really bring the arms up and then really bring the back forward so you're like halfway there. And then again, you can place the hands on the feet, front thighs, and you can notice if your thighs are slack and notice if you really need to lift them. And you can stay here if that's the best you can do. And by keeping the elbows a bit wide, it keeps space in your shoulder blades. You if you're able to, you can soften the knees first. You can hold on to the big toes. You might need to take the feet a little bit wider. So you've got the first two fingers and the thumb on the big toes. And then you can hold the big toes and look forward and then open the elbows. And if you need to keep the knees bent, that's okay too. And then we'll slowly release the knees and see if you can place your palm under your feet. And keeping the knees bent is okay. There's a nice little massage in the hands here. But you can also practice slowly straightening your backs and legs if that works for you, your body. Slowly release that and come down to your mat. And if you need something to sit on, you can use a block or a blanket. You can always take a blanket or a cushion and fold it up just to give you more height. If you can sit so you're at this angle, where you're at that 90-degree angle, then you can sit here. Now we'll start with the fingers next to the hips. And as best as you can, toes are lifted, fronts of the thighs are engaged so the backs of the legs open into the floor. Bend the knees and cross one leg in front of the other. If you're sitting on some height, this can help if you, especially if your knees are raised. You can always put something underneath here if the knees feel really high. But you're trying to have space here so that the thigh bones are starting to come a little bit parallel. They'll be a little bit wide here. But you're trying to bring them more parallel with each other. And then just take the hands on the thighs and see if you can just really weight and ground down both your thighs and your sit bone. And then slowly begin to walk the hands forward. Wherever it works for you today. Slowly walk the hands up. Lift those knees, coming back out into Dandasana, really straightening through the legs so you're opening the backs of the knees. And then bend the knees again and bring the opposite shin in front. And again, if you have need something under your thighs to support them because perhaps you don't have that outer thigh rotation so much. We're all a little bit different. Or sometimes we're a lot different, right? Just bring the hands on the thighs and really see if we press the thighs down and the sit bones down. So the opening is the outer thigh rotating, not about the knees. And then you can slowly begin to walk the hands forward. Slowly walk the hands up, bring the knees up, extend the legs forward so you open up the backs of the legs. And then we'll go into Jana Shirasana, head to knee pose. So I'm bending the right leg to bring it back. And technically the shin is supposed to be on the floor, and you know, there's an opening through that rotation. So you can, if you need something under this leg, you can put that there. But you can bring the hand on there to, actually, we'll bring the hands on the thighs to really ground them. And then as you're doing this, see if you can start to keep rotating that belly button over to this thigh, over to the straight thigh. Because what happens often is people's bodies are like this. I'm doing it more distorted. But we're trying to bring both sides equally around. And as you ground the thighs with your arms, see if you can do like we've done earlier tonight or today. Put the hands on the thigh. You can really bring that belly button around. And then you can put them on the shin. Slow down. And if you're okay there, you can stay there, or you can always hold the outer part of the foot. Come out, you can place the hands on the shin, walk them to the thigh, come up to sitting, both hands on both thighs, and then bring this leg back up and around and forward, and again, fingertips next to you or palms on the floor to get that lift. Bend the other knee back. Again, the first thing to do is put the hands on the thighs to really ground the pelvis, the bone, but you're still trying to rotate that abdominal, that belly button, over to the long, this leg's thigh. You can place the hands on the thigh. And on the shin, if you're okay there. And hold the outer edges of the foot. You can do that. If not, just stay where it's working for you. Then on the thigh, then on both thighs, and bring that knee up, bring it in front. And you better go into some kind of Shavasana pose. So whatever you need for Shavasana, or legs on a chair, or feet up the wall. Just find whatever pose works for you right now. You could put something under the knees in Shavasana. So whatever position you're in, let yourself just settle. Perhaps you feel a little more settled in your thinking mind, a little calmer in your front brain. You allow gravity to spread your back, legs, whatever part of the body is touching the floor, the mat. When you receive that gravity with gratitude, and you notice where in your body you need to bring more softness. You need to bring more softness into your legs, or your arms. Perhaps the pelvic girdle or the rib cage. Maybe it's the shoulder girdle. Maybe it's the face and the jaw. Where in your body do you need to bring a little more attention to soft? To really feeling the skin soften and the flesh under the skin soften, so it can really, really move into gravity. Maybe your big toe needs to release a little bit into gravity. Maybe it's your pointer finger or your thumb. And then slowly begin to reawaken your body, bringing a little bit of movement into your fingers, toes, hands, and feet. Maybe you need a big yawn as you stretch and come up to sitting. Namaste. Thank you for watching and joining us. Namaste.